Hey guys, it's Drew with another tabletop sort of brief review and well, more so overview of the Morakniv Kansbol fixed blade. So this is not a full tang knife, but this is something that caught my eye a bit ago because, well, Mora being more of a budget-friendly brand, I obviously am running on a budget, just like everybody. This knife I think was on Amazon for like $32 to $35 or something at the time that I purchased this one in early 2024. I like getting them in orange specifically. There was only a couple of color options. I think it was orange like it shows in here. Then there was like a green one, and I think there was a black as well. I'm not sure if there's any other color options that were available, but I like the orange. I have orange, and here's a heavy-duty companion that I'll get to showing in a minute. Just for ease of finding them in the woods. I will say the oranges are vastly different between the different variations of Morakniv as you explore their range, which is something minor to touch on. That's not a quality control thing. I just think it's more of like, it's different holster altogether. I think it just helps kind of tell them apart and whatnot. But either way, I do like the color of it. Got it on purpose, and it's also worth noting the Mora Garberg, another knife that I've recently replaced, has the exact same handle. Here is the Mora Garberg here. The handle on this is the exact same as the Kansbol. So if you're curious to what the Garberg feels like, there you go. If you have a Kansbol, it's the same dang thing. Now, I will say a complaint that I have between the both of these is the handle. Not that they're bad. It's not a bad handle. They're just, it's like a polymer. Is that this portion here, this insert that they would inject in there, it's not a rubbery. It's just hard plastic. That's it. And it even, it's just, there's nothing to it. So it's very hollow. It's not that it's saying that it's not durable. It still works in the woods, but that's it. It's a minor gripe. So let me set this Garberg aside. Get back to this one at hand. So the Kansbol has the option with these three lines back here as well to come with a couple different holster configurations, as well as the survival kit is what they call it, which is the knife, the holster, and then it comes with a fire starter. It's like a little black piece that attaches down here in the lower third of the holster. Just holds a fire starter. I think they have a sharpening steel as well on there that you can use in the field, which I will say the Kansbol in particular on a Morakniv would need, even though it's not a carbon steel blade. So let's get a little bit more of a closer up look at it, of the blade and the profile here, as long as this bad boy stays in focus. And let me do a little comparison of it, that way you can see the difference between the heavy duty companion, which is the top is the heavy duty companion, the bottom being the Kansbol. So you can see the standard $10 to $15 companion here versus the $30 to $35 Kansbol, or Kansbol, one of those. So the top blade for about a third of the cost is a carbon steel, and the bottom is a Sandvik stainless steel. Now, obvious difference that you can tell between these two blades is the profile that's on this portion in between my fingers towards the front of the knife. Now that blade profile is just good for some up close slicing of fruits and whatnot, is what I would use it for. Fruits and meats, things of the like. If you're going to skin an animal, if that's your thing, then that blade profile will do great there. Now that also goes to how fine the point is, and when I received this knife, which this is my second one, my second Kansbol that I've received, the tip was essentially rolled completely over. So to this moment, I can't stab this or drop this onto my cutting board here and have it stick or anything of the sort. It's essentially dull at the very, very tip, even though it might not necessarily look like it. But yeah, no, this bad boy is pretty dull on the tip. So that is something to take consideration of. It's just something I can fix really quickly with a sharpener, but out of the box, there is that chance that it's going to be dull. I'm not sure how that's personally the case, because obviously it comes in the holster. The holster on this one has 2 holes at the bottom for drainage, versus the standard heavy-duty companion that just has 1 little dot. This one has 2 slits. Otherwise, the holster configurations that it has, it's similar to the Garberg in options, since everything the Garberg has is essentially cross-compatible with this. It has the standard dangly belt loop as an option that you can also, if you have something with buttons on it, you can attach that as well. Like I said, jam a belt through there. It has the, sorry about the camera there, it has the, the modular sheath is an option. If you want to put it on something that has molly attachments or something of the sort on there. And it also has the survival sheath, as mentioned a moment ago, that it kind of mounts to these little 3 slits in the back of the holster here, and then mounts a fire steel. And I believe that is it. And this is just the standard polymer sheath. There's nothing wrong with the polymer one. I personally like it. It's, you know, you can put the knife in either way. It sticks perfectly fine. You're not going to shake it out of there. You can go run a mile with it super loose and it's all good. So works perfectly fine there. So let me just set the sheath aside. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Doesn't really leave anything to be desired in my opinion. It's just a standard Mora sheath. Slightly nicer than the standard plastic one that comes with the heavy-duty companion. Although I do like the retention that comes with being able to just throw that on a pair of shorts or something. Versus this that definitely forces you to have a belt on. That's not really a particular complaint of mine. I mean, each knife does a different task, and of course you can always spend a couple of more dollars and get a new holster if you really wanted to, or sheath. So as mentioned earlier, this is a Sandvik stainless steel, not a carbon steel, so it's supposed to be stainless and be way more resistant to rust and obviously staining, as opposed to their cheaper carbon variants, this one being more designed for slicing as mentioned. The belly of it is a little bit more aggressive than some of the other standard Mora knives. The belly down here where it starts to, you can kind of see the different light reflections where the grind starts to really help with that slicing motion. Just do a couple little close-ups here. The blade itself, if I haven't touched on it, is just over 4 inches. I think it's 4.3 inches or like 109 millimeters, 110 millimeters, something like that in length. It's just under 9 inches in total size from pointer finger to pointer finger here, or from tip to pommel. It's just under a 1/10 inch thick is what they advertise it as. I think that's more towards the tip of the knife here, as you can really see where this beveling from this grinding starts. It really starts tapering down and that blade starts getting real fine out there. I believe that that 1/10 inch measurement does not start all the way back here. It starts way closer to the tip, more so in this aspect of it, because that seems incredibly thin of a measurement to use for it. It's just under 5 ounces. I think it's like 4.7, 4.8 ounces is what it's measured as. So all Mora knives are notorious for being incredibly lightweight, especially their Garberg, which was one of the things that was alluring to me at the time, which is their full tang model. I will say with this blade in particular, the spine is 90 degrees and it is very sharp, very good. It's not going to cut you, but it can, if you need it to. I'm not trying to do this too aggressively, but you can obviously strike a fire steel if you need to. I wasn't trying to go super hard in there and burn my cutting board down, but you can do it. I'll do a review on the fire starter that I use. This is one that I've replaced recently, but it is very, very good and functional. So this is one, in terms of use, I don't think it's one that I'm going to be using in the woods for like deep woods camping, things of the sort, or like really any bushcrafty kind of tasks. This is more of like a camp knife to me, something more along the lines of like a K-Bar BK16, if that's something that you're familiar with, which I think I have that here as a comparison as well. So there's a BK16, it's a little bit more aggressive looking, in my opinion, than that. But this and the Kansbol are more camping knives for me. Over the bushcraft, having the thinner blades, even though the BK K-Bar here is much thicker, It's just, with the thinness of it, you don't really want to do too much with wood other than some light whittling if you're going to be doing anything of the sort. Again, I'm a little weary about using the tip for much outside of cutting meats or foods or anything like that. Just for the sole aspect of how thin that blade gets and how easy it is to kind of, misshape it from use. If you're just trying to cut like some sticks down and make some makeshift tent stakes of the sort, not bad if you're just trying to do like some finer points. But, I mean, I guess that's kind of what you would use this portion of the blade for. This rear, probably 2.5 inches versus the final 2 inches and change. So, not a bad blade. I'm happy I bought it. Definitely going to keep this in my collection and rotation. It's one that I'll throw in the bag for probably the missus when we go camping together. So yeah, that's about it. I'll do some comparisons between the Kansbol. Here's the companion again. They're the heavy-duty companion in carbon steel. There's the Ka-Bar BK16. Let me put all these in frame here to make sure that they're all good. There is the Morakniv, the full steel, or the full tang. Let me just mix those up a bit. So we have Kansbol heavy-duty companion, so it's like 30-35 bucks, about 15 bucks on Amazon. Then you have the Garberg, the carbon steel model that is full tang, so you can see the steel all the way back here where my ring finger's touching, versus these ones which are rat tang, so the tang itself of the blade goes about 3/4 of the way through the handle, so not as strong inherently, but not quite bad either. So if you're going to do like wood batoning and a little bit more heavy duty tasks, the Garberg is going to be your thing. The companion and the Kansbol are much more camp, whittling with wood, playing around kind of knives in my opinion. It's not things I'm going to be doing anything more heavy duty or batoning with, which is debatable if you should do it with a knife anyways. Same with the Ka-Bar BK16 here, which I have. These are aftermarket micarta handles. So yeah, that's part of my rotation for more knives, and just a quick overview of this Kansbol here with again, the same handle as the Garberg if you are curious. No regrets at all. It's going to be a good backup knife for somebody that I'm taking camping that's a little bit less experienced than me, that's doesn't want to spend $100 on a knife and just go get it beaten up and dirty and whatnot. And that's it. So if you like content like this, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more gear reviews. I'll do some camping videos in the near future as well. I'm going to have some opportunities to go in about another month. So that's it. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.